Hello, hello. Welcome to our neck of the woods. You have me again today. Jeff is off about doing chores and getting some stuff done. We had a problem with one of the tractor tires, so he's out there working on that. And the Canadian cold front is officially here. Uh, it's freezing. I broke out the thermals today. Um, right on, Bonnie. I know a lot. I know a lot of you are do just listen in the day while you're doing other things, and I think that's great. Hope it's a nice little break in your day. So I titled this "Fall Cleaning is Just as Important as Spring Cleaning." When we do spring cleaning, whether it be our house or our bodies or cleaning up outside the environment after the winter storms and whatnot, no matter what kind of cleaning we do, in the spring, it's for new beginnings. In the fall, it's in preparation for the winter, right? Um, so, fall cleaning is just as important. That pre cleaning before the long settle is always just as important as the spring cleaning. And I think a lot of people forget about it. But where I'm from, fall cleaning manifests itself in yard sales everywhere until the first snow. um, Hey, Aunt Phoebe. Um, so I thought that was something we could talk about today because, with everything going on in the world right now, and the cleansing the entire world needs, but we need to do what we can too, in our homes, for ourselves, for our bodies. Right. I know a lot of people right now are going through detoxing processes, several different kinds, and somebody did Canine Dogman shared with me the hydroxygen protocol. Hi, Polly. Oh, well, let us know when you get that figured out. But post your new channel. Did we rent you yesterday? I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it from here. Give me a moment. Uno momento, and I will uh, get you set up. And you can post your new channel link. So, so yeah. Um, Anybody want to share thoughts on it? I thought it would be a good topic to cover, especially since today's cold and all I can think about is chili or grilled cheese and sandwiches. I mean, I'm totally in comfort food mode now. So yeah. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Want to share thoughts on? Okay. There you are. And there you are. All right. Okay. Okay. There you are. You're wearing blue. Um, so does anybody want to chime in on that? You guys in chat want to chime in on that at all? The importance of fall cleaning, being just as important as spring cleaning, and everybody starts dieting in the spring. Everybody starts fasting. Um, you're welcome, honey. Um, you get you do a good deep clean on the house because after winter, but I think a lot of people forget that you have to do a good cleaning on the house before winter sets in too. Um, and you got to get all your outside stuff cleaned up, and most people it's just an everyday bit of life, and you get prepared for wintertime. Um, I don't think we think about it, but fall is also an essential time for us to be cleaning and renewing our spirit. And I think I love the fall for that reason because uh, it's the prelude, right? It's the prelude to the sun coming back and warming us back up and growing new things and gardening. And but we have to have the close down of that season as well. And the close down is just as important, if not more, than the startup, because now's the time where you flip you flip your ground that you want to garden in next year, so that you don't have grass growing there again. Now's the time where you amend your soil so it's nice and rich come spring. Um, where you put up your harvest. So, uh, ha, right on. Well, I guess my timing was spot on. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear a little bit of this in other places today too, just because it seems like the ideas are connected um, all the time. Hey, Sage, how you doing? I am looking forward to your debate with Mr. Phelps this evening, Sage. A good old fashioned debate done the right way. I don't think there's much that beats that. I really don't. Um, so yeah, while we're cleaning up our houses for the fall and getting prepared for the winter, while we're cleaning up our gardens for the fall, getting prepared for the spring, we need to clean up our minds. We need to clean up our acts. We need to clean up our bodies and our spirits as well. And so that's what I was wanting to talk about today with you guys. Um, that's right. Yeah, and we all do it. We all do, like, we pull out our winter clothes, right, and put away our summer stuff. And um, I have to get on that. But what got me on the subject today was I was talking to Raina because she's been having a little bit of she's feeling that chaotic energy a lot. And I was talking to her about math and stuff. She happily decided to go on her own from addition and subtraction straight to exponents without any real foundation in multiplication. And I thought that, I mean, we covered some of it, the basics, blah, blah, but we hadn't gone in depth with it last year. And then, when my father passed, um, I was comatose, like mentally and emotionally comatose for some time. So it threw off all of our rest of our schooling last year. But we do school year round so that we have quite a bit of leniency in how we do things. She's not really missing anything that in that sense. But she decided she wanted to learn exponents, and she just went right to town on it. And I mean, proud mama moment, right? But I was worried because when it started getting to like double number exponents and stuff, she just like it somewhere she just clicked it off. She turned it straight off in her head, and I thought, well, that's my fault. I didn't give her a good basis, a good foundation in those numbers and how they work. She's got a good grasp of it, but not a good foundation of it yet. So it's like the concrete's still wet, right? Um, so I sat here this morning and I pulled out one of her old composition books and I just started filling out the pages with review, right? And I thought, wow, yeah, because fall is the time for review. But it's also a time for cleansing. It's not just reviewing. Now's the time when you review, you categorize, you organize, and you get your shit together. And we are in fall everywhere and in all things, right? With all the news going on in the world today, with all the crap going on, with the um, all the happenings, right? And I know I didn't say happenings, um, but with all that stuff going on, I think it's really vital that now we start discussing about that fall cleaning too and the importance of it. And so, if y'all would like to quit hearing me blather, and anybody wants to pop on up here and have a discussion, I welcome it. Um, but yeah, so Sage and Cage have been putting out some really good stuff. Um, And I'm seeing stuff come out of Monkey and Dutch Sense, and you know, we've talked about that before. Like all these things are connected. Even the Canary Island stuff is connected to other things. Um, but instead of looking on the surface stuff, like let's look deeper, right? Because we're all connected too. And these ideas that float around every day, they float from channel to channel to channel. And most of those content moderators or most of those content creators are not like discussing this with the other channels before they talk about it. It's something that has come to their conscious forefront. And they're going, this needs to be covered. We need to talk about this, right? So, and I find it amazing that a lot of these things get covered same day or next day. Um, and I think that's awesome. I really do. I think it is further proof that we are indeed all connected, and that I know I don't cover the news stuff like those guys do, and I'm okay with that, because they do a fantastic job, and because I know how to research, and the guys that I trust with my news are the ones giving me links so that I can go look into it myself. So that's how I gauge that. If I'm not getting source information from them, um, I got a guy who knows a guy who's related to a guy who's got a third cousin who married the wife of this other guy who told him this. Yeah, I don't do hair shop talk. I never have. If you can tell, I mean, maybe you can't. I'm not real fond of the barbershop. Um, it's just not my favorite place to be. So, oh, well, thank you, Anna. So, um, yeah, you guys, where do you want me to take this? Because give me something. Somebody. we're hearing about um, we're hearing about all this nonsense with migrants and the. I like how Monkey puts it. I really do. I like how he uses his terminology. Um, but he also points out like the fact that they're pumping up saying that we're sending all of this, that, and the other back, but we're not. And somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the Haitian situation similar to the Cuban situation? And wasn't the Florida people who were going to go help the Cubans and the Haitians told not to? Weren't immigrants told not to come through there, um, through that venue, through that avenue? And I'm not. Hey, Monty. Um, and I'm not saying anything bad about either. Look, I lived in Florida for a while, and some of the best people I knew were Cubans and Haitians, Dominican Republican. It's Florida itself is a melting pot. It's amazing the people you meet down there. The whole East Coast is, um, because we have so many um, way throughs. You know, I mean, just there's so many areas that that different nations swarm through and come into our country. And I think all those people are just fascinating to me because, again, we're all tied together, you know, through our ancestry, through our roots. We're all tied. We're all related in one way or another. I firmly believe that. Hey, Monty, what you up to today, man?
Hello, hello. Is my mic real loud?
You sound good to me.
I just didn't want to be blasting people's ears. So, how y'all doing?
We are doing. I'm freezing. I am freezing my tuchus off, and I may
Feels
try to
good.
talk the husband into bringing in some firewood. Yeah, but I live in the
I
woods.
know.
Like I am closely surrounded by the trees, and so once it starts hitting this time of year, the cold settles in the house, and unless we've got the wood stove going, but
Right.
it saves me gas, you know. I mean, so because I cook on my wood stove, even though it's not a wood cooking stove, it's just a wood burning stove.
Yeah.
I'll cook right on top of that sucker. I don't even care. I'll open it up and pop tinfoil packets inside the fire. You know,
Yeah, it saves on gas.
absolutely, absolutely. Plus, I just love the flavor of slow cooked food like that. You know, I really do. There's something to be said for it. But
Yeah,
I would love to have. I would love to have me a wood burning cook stove to heat my house
those
with and to cook on all
those are
winter.
hard to find, even the smaller ones.
Oh no, we
Uh,
have a. There's a actually. You know what? Maybe someday I will take you guys out to the. There's this Amish guy. He has a. It's literally wood stove cooking stoves and wood burning stove repair shop, and he's got tons of them out there. But still, even a small wood cooking stove, you're looking at like $1,000 and up, and that's cheap. Like I know that's cheap, but that's a big hunk of money. You know.
right.
Hello, everybody.
Jeff says hi.
Hello. So, right out of the gates, I was running last night with my channel.
Awesome.
I got a question on StreamYard.
Okay.
Like down in the before I come up on panel, I was down in chat. Is there a way to? Mine's white. Is there a way to turn it to the night mode where it's dark like yours?
My husband has not found a way to turn it to the dark mode, and my back screen is white.
So when you're on through
Are you
your
talking
controls,
about your background? Like we have the picture up there?
no,
Is that okay?
no, through chat. Like whenever I was watching chat and everything, it was bright white, and I didn't know if there was a way to turn that to night mode
Oh, I don't.
as a host.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I know our YouTube, like our personal YouTube settings are the white text on the black screen because it's easier for me to read. But I don't know how to do that like in StreamYard. Ours is just white, black text on white background.
Right.
Jeff, I don't think has figured that out yet. If we do figure it out, I'll be happy to let you know.
Oh, I still got. Gigi says no. I still got some playing around to do, but I did pretty good. It wasn't too much of a train wreck, but it was a train wreck.
Oh, awesome. We actually went to bed early last night just to get some rest and get caught up on some
Yeah.
sleep. I hanging out with that redheaded stepsister of mine. I mean, she'll keep you up until the wee hours of the day.
Yeah.
She knows I love it.
I only did a 4-hour show.
That's pretty good.
Only? That's great.
Yeah, that's the very first one.
You were comfortable and everything? We'll have to go back
Oh,
and
yeah.
watch it because we missed it.
Look how he gets on.
Oh, the first of it's rough. I'm talking to myself. And then Lisa Anderson.
I don't know that you spelled.
Lisa Anderson come up there. Canadian Patriot come up there, and
Right on.
and then I had Charlie and Remote, Jeff, Riddle. It was pretty good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really good, Monty. Proud of you, man. And the fact that you're trying to help people, that is excellent.
Well, I made it. I made it, and I already got my other backup channels already going, being verified.
I don't even
It
know
should
how to
be-
set up backup channels.
You just go in and create another Google account, or not another Google account, but another email account,
Okay.
another through your Gmail, and then once you do that, you can create another account through YouTube.
All right. Well, there's 2,000 parts of the body, so if we lose the neck, we'll find another part of the woods to be in.
Right?
I'm just saying. You know what? It tickled me right after we decided to name our channel Our Neck of the Woods. Everybody started saying it, like, and it was like an unconscious thing, but like everybody started using it in their language. It was so cute.
The area I'm from, that we used to say it anyways, or because country folk. That's all I got to say.
Got that right.
Country folk,
We got
man. There's nothing like some
we-
country folk, though.
I'm telling you, we got our own lingo.
And Jeff and I were talking about that this morning. That's so funny you said that. We were talking about the Appalachian people, right? Man, those are some hardy people. And I know
Yes.
there were a lot of different nationalities, right, that crossed over the Appalachian Mountains. But the ones that seemed to really stick were the Scottish and the Irish because they're hardy.
Oh,
not that other people
Oh.
aren't, but Scotsmen and Irishmen are some hardy folk. I mean,
Yes.
you think about it. They have survived wars upon wars upon wars. I mean, I don't think the Irish ever come out of war. Famines, all kinds of stuff. And they don't whine, moan, or complain. They get up and they go do. You know what I mean? They just get it done. And it's remarkable to me that, like, certain nations as a whole, the things that they survive, and then, like, to see that those cultural roots set down in different areas, in certain areas and stuff. Like, in the Ohio Valley, a lot of German settlers settled here. And then we have some other nationalities that settled here too, but it was a lot of German. Like, they came off the mountain and they said, we're parking this shit right here. We ain't going no further.
Ohio and upper Pennsylvania is full of German Quakers, and
Yeah.
that's where my great grandfather came from. So
We actually had the high school I went to was the Quakers. That was our like team logo. We were Quakers. It's just amazing to me. You know what I mean? Like, how, when you think about the progression of our ancestors across this great country, and where certain nationalities settled and other nationalities moved further, and just the different things like that, and the different tribes that are interacted with. Because, like, I came from an area where we are rich in Quaker history. We are also very rich in Native American history, and we're very proud of both of those histories. Even though, all the wars and the crap and we all know that our Native brothers and sisters were not treated fairly from the beginning.
no.
But coming from that dual heritage, you know what I mean? It's amazing how you tune into different things in different ways. And we grow up going on school field trips to look at a historical Quaker village that was set up. That was one of the founding villages for the Quakers to teach the natives of the land. So there are teepees and everything that were in this village that were, some of them were original. You couldn't go in them or anything anymore because they were, rat-a-tat. But it was like, 2 or 3 years ago, the village caught on fire.
Which one?
Quaker
Good.
Village.
Oh, Quaker. Yeah.
Down at Schönbrunn?
Yeah, Schönbrunn. Yeah.
Schönbrunn
Destroyed
Village.
One old house
And it-
a partial of another one.
Yeah, it
Because
destroyed
it's
some of the original historical things. But the thing that we loved about it, and that we still love about it, they rebuilt the buildings that burned. But those aren't historical anymore, But it's a living history village. So people live there, and they live in the manner, and they choose, whether they live as the native or as the pilgrims of that time. And then we have a lot of really great stories and stuff that come with that. Okay, this
Yeah.
is you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I done posted it a couple times in chat before I come up here.
Oh, right on.
I was gonna
Well,
name
that's
it the full. I was gonna name it the Full Monty Show, and when I typed it in, there's a radio broadcast already named that.
Oh,
Ha.
man.
Well,
So,
I mean, that's a pretty.
Or the full Monty.
Well, what did you decide to go with then?
just Monty
Monteguma's
McCoy, I
Revenge?
guess.
That's what I would
Yeah.
go with. I would go with Monteguma's Revenge.
No,
You know
because
why? You know why I'd go with that?
why?
Because your revenge would be against the evil, and your revenge would be spreading that message of hope and love. I don't know that
Right.
there is a sweeter revenge. You think about that. Lighten up the darkness. Can you think of a sweeter revenge?
No.
Right? I mean,
Oh.
because like nobody gets hurt in that process as far as you know, but maybe we could change some hearts. Who knows?
Right. And then I had to put a 1 on it because I typed in my name, and there was someone from 2 years ago that had posted 2 rap videos on the exact same way I spelt my name, and I'm like, I've had my account for 10 years.
You know what would solve the whole problem, Monty, is just going with Carlo Hatfield. Nobody
Oh,
would
no.
know.
No.
Oh,
You know,
I just got to pick on you, hon.
I know. You know, you was talking about the Appalachian Mountains and the hardiness and everything that people went through, and that's where country music got its roots, is in there. And
Exactly.
the late great Patsy Cline came from those roots.
I love Patsy Cline. Are you kidding me?
Out of,
That woman's
No, I'm
voice sends
not.
shivers up and down my skin. What's
Yeah,
that? What's that word, Gigi? Gigi knows that one word she had the other night makes the hair raise up on your skin. Eruption.
but she came out of the mountains of Appalachia, and I didn't even know that until a few years ago when I was watching a documentary on her, and I'm like, oh, aha.
I think about it, man, and I meet people. I've met people throughout my life. I've met people from all over the world. And
Happy.
I'll tell you what, some of the best people have some of the deepest roots in the weirdest places. You know what I mean? But they're good, hearty folk. And most of the best people that I've ever met live in the country or live in the woods. You know, I don't know why it seems to be that way. It's like those people have more of a calmness in their soul, more peace with the world, right? More in tune, more in touch.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like that mountain range alone or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, when you think about the people that you've met in your life and you think about the conversations that you have with these people, the people that attract me, at least I'll say it that way, the people that tend to attract me the most are the people who are rooted. They're earthy. They're in touch with and in tune with something that I want to be in touch and in tune with, you know? And it's always been like those kind of people that draw me. And I think it's fascinating how we get drawn in certain ways to certain areas. And it's your spirit guides you to your family, you know? And I know it wraps right back up. We've been talking about that for days about how we're family, but we are. You tend to get in and there's a peace. There's a peace that just comes over you. You know what I mean? When you're around certain people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a complete and total gift. I think that is a gift. Because those people aren't seen in the midst of the chaos. So people don't tend to think about them too much, but those are my kind of people. Those are people that I like to hang out with. Good vibes.
So how did you set up the scrolling ticker banner? Because that's one
Okay.
thing I was trying to figure out last night.
When you're in your StreamYard, in your back StreamYard, right below comments, like over on the right hand side, it has that bar. It says comments, banners, brand, private chat settings. You go in banners, and
Yeah.
it'll have example banners, and then you go in and you can edit a banner. And this is called a ticker. When it scrolls across the bottom of the screen, it's a ticker.
Yeah, I set up my banner with the Veterans Crisis Hotline, but I never could figure out the scrolling ticker.
Oh yeah,
Because
right underneath it says
There's-
ticker.
There's a button right underneath that says ticker, and then if you go to the bottom of however many banners, when you've created your banner, it'll ask you if you want it to scroll across the bottom of the screen. You just tick that little box, and it'll scroll.
Okay. And I seen Bonnie's comment. Yeah, I my bad, Bonnie. That was my link to get into the show last night, and I forgot. Thank you, Bonnie.
Hey, love pugs.
Thank you, Brenda.
So do you know what time you're going to be going, or you got me figured out yet?
Yeah. So what's going to be your time frame?
Well, I made it to fill in for if Gigi and Travis go off air early, and no one has a place to go, or I fill in for Riddle or anyone else that can't do their time slots, if they need me to go on or something. But I was thinking kind of in the morning. I was thinking maybe that, because that's about the only time space that's available.
Probably like right after Craig.
Well, if Craig gets back on to doing the coffee and prayer, it might go on after him. So yeah. And that would leave an hour or two before you all, if that's what Craig's going to do. I don't know. It's not really set in stone yet on what time slot. So
Right. Well, and that's great that you're going to do fill-in slots for people. Like, hey, so and so's not having a show today, so decided to pop up and let's do this.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, because I think we need a little bit more of that sometimes when we need days off.
Well, the reason I say that is because it gives people a place still to go and
need to talk to Jeff.
And release the stress or whatever. Just
yeah, and it does it. I think it's important that people have a place to go that's not focused on all the stressful stuff, because it doesn't need to be stressful.
Right. Oh, last night it was.
You got to be able to breathe. If you can't breathe, there's problems.
I was nervous at first, and then when Lisa and Brenda got up on there, and then Jeff, and then especially after when Remote got on there, Jeff and Remote, everybody had me laughing. Oh my gosh.
Good. Did you guys see Sage's little thing today that he did?
Oh yes.
Oh, that was hilarious. I was like, what is he getting into? And then I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it. So I clicked on it, and Jeff's like, honey, what are you watching?
Did you watch the last one when he had all?
Just wait for it. I said, I see what he's doing.
Yeah. Did you watch the last one when he had the respirator on and everything else?
That's the one I was talking about. Yeah.
Well, what? Okay, then you ought to watch the first one.
Gigi, he had a respirator. He had
he's promoting.
He had one of these.
Okay. Here's the thing.
And then he had 3 masks underneath of it.
Yeah. Oh, he has a lot of them on. I was like, I was just.
That was
laughing.
Hilarious. I hope that was
that,
take 1, because that would have been painful to have to do more than 1 take on that.
Right.
Sage.
He is promoting the Shane Phelps and Sage debate. It's going to be Saturday night on Liberty, and it's going to be interesting because Mike's going to be asking them the questions.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to enjoy it, because I know they both know how to do a nice debate, and I think it's going to be fantastic. And I want to know, but I don't want to know. I'd like to be kept in suspense. So If you know, Sage, which side you're on, for or against, don't tell me. Shane, if you're listening, don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise. I want to hear the arguments. Oh, you know what would be cool is if you guys could switch for and against for each question and argue both sides like that. Oh man, because they both have mindsets they could do that with.
That's what they're doing. Is what you just said.
Oh, that's going to be excellent.
They don't know the questions that they're. Yeah, they don't know the questions that they're going to be asked.
No, but I mean, instead of one being for and one being against, as far as like when you're doing a real debate,
right?
You've got a sense of what the topic's going to be, and whether you're going to argue pro or con, right?
Right.
So if one of them, like say the first question, this Sage does pro and Shane does con. The second question, Shane does pro, Sage does con, like that.
Oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
Because I think that would be super interesting. And I think that would make it a little bit more interesting for the fact that they both have minds that work in both those ways, right?
Yeah.
And so you would see a legitimate, intelligent argument for both ways, even if they don't agree. You see what I mean? Because that's what it's about. When you do debates, it's not about whether you agree with the topic or not. It's about listing out the factual pros and the factual cons and how these concepts can develop. Right.
Yeah. Maria retired. It's nothing. It's just a parody satire kind of thing that they're just doing. I mean, now the videos that Sage is putting out, that's what I was meaning is he's just doing them for fun. They're not actually running for nothing. They're just doing a friendly debate. Something different, something out of the ordinary for Liberty Warrior and for them. So it's going to be interesting. I can't wait. You ought to catch Sage's first video. It's just as funny.
I'll have to check that out.
Oh man. He has his headphones on, but yet he turns and he's like someone's telling him something, telling him what to say or whatever.
Somebody.
Yeah, it's so good, and he has a few little excerpt clips in there from the past political people. You'll just have just watch it. And it's funny. It is.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm getting a kick out of it. I'm actually looking really looking forward to it because I don't know what topics Mike's going to pick, but I'm going to guess they're going to be
really good,
pretty good topics because he does have he has a wider range than he discusses as far as like what he looks at and what, just like we do. And we have a lot wider range than what we put out there. But you know, we'll talk about whatever too, because we're pretty well versed. And if we're not, I'll go get versed. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I popped the link out there if anybody wants to pop up with us.
GG, the reason I'm not doing a late night show consistently is because there's already a few of y'all doing that. And I don't want to be stepping on anyone. Like, there's GG, there's Travis running at the same time. And then there's really no one except one or two other channels that I'm sub to that run after that. But I mean, if GG or Travis is not going to be on a certain night or something per se, then I could fill in there if people wanted me to. It's like I said, it's not set in stone. An hour before, well, I don't know. I wasn't going to be, I really haven't thought about doing a show every day. I was kind of thinking about every other day on the regular show.
Monty, none of us thinks about that we're going to be doing a show every day. And then we get here and we're here every day.
Oh, I know.
This wasn't
Riddle-
going to be an everyday thing.
Whoops. Sorry. Turned my mic up too much. See, Riddle first talked me into this because that one night Gigi wasn't on, and then Travis went off early, and he goes, "We have no place to go." He goes, "Go start up a channel, Monty." And then he talked me into it, and then I was like, "Yeah, it will give us a place to go." And then the next thing I know, I'm like, "Well, shoot, I can just do a certain day of the week, or maybe every other day of the week, show about recovery and addiction." So, and then go from there.
I think right
Who knows?
now is the time people need to hear that. They need places to go and be with people who are also
Right.
going through that or have gone through that, to bolster them, because it's not going to get any easier for those people, and they're going to be needing to reach out for help.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be wanting to conform to get that help.
Right, and that's the reason I was going to call it the Full Monty Show is because Tracy Q gave me the idea yesterday when we was here on your show yesterday, and I was like, yeah, that is a good idea because that means I could cover all topics and include recovery and addiction. So
There you go. You want to talk about it a little bit today? What are your plans for your show? Where would you like to see it go?
I'm not looking at being monetized or being big. Smaller shows are better. That's how I feel. It's easier
I like 'em too.
Yeah, it's easier. You don't get all the chaotic trolls and everything if it's a smaller channel. Is how I'm looking at it. So
Not only that, you usually have the same people returning, and so you get a chance to know those people, to get to know them people, and to have conversations, meaningful conversations.
oh yeah.
And so I guess what I meant maybe more was what's your mission with this show? What is your purpose? To reach as many people in addiction as you can, to offer help, or to just be more like a support group type of thing? Because that would be a
Right.
good thing. I think just like we have the channels out there that are supportive with veterans, and Travis does a lot with the truck drivers, and I just want to be all inclusive. Like, go out and meet somebody and pick up a new accent,
Yeah. Well, I mean, on the days that I do it for the recovery and addiction, yeah, like a support group. I mean, they can come up there and give their testimonies that they'd like. If anyone has anything just weighing on their shoulders and they want to, I mean,
Yeah.
there might even be one night one day that we do scripture and prayer. I mean, it can go anywhere. Like I said, all topics.
Right on. Well, I'm just trying to help you paint yourself a clearer picture too,
Right. I could call
and
it from A to
for
Z.
those that are listening, if you guys don't know Monty, he's around the circuit. If you're here, I'm sure you've probably been on some of those other places on the circuit too. So
Oh yeah. I could call it from A to Z.
yeah. Lead Farmer was on this morning live right before we came on. Well, not this morning, I guess early afternoon, and I caught a little bit of his show before I came over here, and he was talking about these people that he was like, if you have a YouTube channel, what so and he was talking about, if you have a YouTube channel, it's not easy. You put time into this, you put love into this, and you'll have a million people that'll reach out that are going to tell you how they think you should do your thing. And then all you need to do is just ask them, do you have a YouTube channel? And I thought it was
Right.
great. So.
Well, just in one night, a short period of time, actually, within just a few hours, I had 30 subs.
Right on. Right on.
So
Right on. We'll get over and sub to you.
I'm not really worried about the 1,000 subs or whatever like
Right.
YouTube Studio
Community.
require.
Yeah.
So, like I said,
Eventually it'll
Well,
get there. I mean-
you know, we're not going to sweat it either. Eventually, though, I'm not going to lie. Eventually, we would like to get monetized, and why not?
We've got people still subbing and we don't know where they're coming from. So
It's okay.
Once it starts getting out
To
there,
want to be monetized, I think. I don't think
You'll
there's
get 'em.
anything wrong with that. You know,
doesn't mean you gotta have them on the show all the time, but
I'm already at 75. Whoa.
that's not our
see.
awesome Monty. See, you'll grow exponentially, bud. You
Yeah.
will.
And then some will drop off. You'll notice that some will drop off, and some will come back. Now,
That's
how
what
they do
Diana. Yeah, Diana went on. Diana went on last night, and she didn't know that I was on, and so Bella and Jeff both jumped over there and told her, and so she came over, and she was up on panel too, and so
Oh, right on.
it was pretty good. It was. Right before you guys' show started today, I watched a short little video on YouTube, and this guy was doing acrylic painting, and he did a couple walking with some trees and stuff, and he started out doing drops of painting, and then he took a brush and he had it on the canvas, and then he started just brushing, and I'm like, whoa, I've never seen it done like that. He had drops of paint all over the canvas.
That's cool.
All right.
Sorry,
Let's
Don just put
see.
something in the
What the?
yeah. And that's my
Dwight, you
governor,
better not be
unfortunately. That dude has done some
Stupido.
shady stuff. He at the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of that, he passed a bill overnight with nobody round type of deal, and it was like if you have children and you don't have a minimum of 2 bathrooms in your house, they can come take
They
your
can come
kids.
take kids, yeah.
Now you
Say
gonna
what?
tell me everybody's losing
Hey,
their
Mark.
jobs
Didn't hear you.
if you don't have 2 bathrooms in your house? They can come take your kids.
What?
Yeah.
You think I'm shitting you?
Wow.
No,
It was a quiet law. It was passed
it was
about 3
passed
o'clock in the
quietly.
morning.
Most people don't know that it even exists. This
See,
stuff,
we need to get.
that's why I keep telling you, for everything that they're putting in the light, for everything they say out on television, public television or national television, for everything they tell you is done, there is multitude of stuff that they're doing behind closed doors that they are not telling you is done, not telling
ain't
you
right.
is being done. And
You know. Okay. You know how they're.
and
You
well,
know how there's.
the timing of it was suspicious to me because the timing of it was right after everybody lost their jobs from all the business shutdowns, right? For the original,
Right.
cutting the curve.
We'll
All
see.
right, and everybody had lost work. Everybody was out of work, and you passed a bill like that overnight. Now, who in the hell is going to be able to afford to remodel their home should they choose to anyway?
Well, it's because a lot of people are pulling their kids out and homeschooling them because of this. But here's the thing: just like
I urge
separation
every
of church and
parent that
state,
can, please do.
just like there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, there needs to be a separation of state and school. But if you do that, then the school doesn't get funding. And they know now, since this lockdowns, I'll just say that, in the last year or two, people are pulling their kids out from for homeschooling and stuff, and that's why they passed this law I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it's a stupid law about the bathroom thing at home. And they know that since people are pulling their kids out to homeschooling and stuff, that's another. See, states have been trying to nettle their nose into the home's way and to gain more control of the kids.
Listen, when I was a teenager here in Ohio, they were trying to get it where you could arrest the parents if the children were truant.
Yeah.
And they did
Oh,
get
yeah.
it a couple years after I was already out of school, or my dad would have been arrested several times because I was a really messed up teenager, and I would have hated to make my dad suffer for that. But they did end up passing that, and they can arrest parents now if their child is truant, and they've made it like impossible. So if your kid is having a mental freak out or breakdown, and you just want to say, I'm going to write a sick note to the school, right? Because that's what they did when we were kids, right, Monty? You could just write a note to the school, take it in the next day, parent note that said you were sick, and
Right.
that's why you
Used
didn't
to.
come to school. Right. Now you can't do that. Now it's got to be a doctor's excuse. So not only is the parent out of a day of work, but the parent's also out of money going to the doctor in order to get the viable excuse. You know, it's crap. It's all crap. And you hear a lot of jokes going around about, well, I'll just say that I don't feel good, or I have a cough, or I have a fever, and then they'll just get out and do 2 weeks quarantine. And then, of course, the quarantines keep getting shorter. I don't know. Is anybody seeing that stuff? I mean, are you guys seeing that? Because I know it's not being put out on the news programs and stuff, and I'm sure most of you don't even watch that anyway. But a lot of the quarantine standards have been not lifted, but shortened.
Yeah. So is
Would
the governor of Ohio?
make any sense?
I take it the governor of Ohio is blue.
No, he's a rhino.
Oh, see, in Kansas, it's a red state, and it's been a red state forever, and that's why we've never passed medicinal marijuana, and which is kind of a bad thing. But our governor, Governor Kelly, Laura Kelly, she is a blue governor, and how she got in, I don't know, because that's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Love. Go ahead. Sorry.
She has tried passing her diaper mandates, face diaper mandates, here and there, and the second time she went to go and enforce or subject us to that, well, it got overturned by the Republicans in the House in Kansas. And they told her no. And if you keep it up, we're going to make sure that you don't have no power at all. So.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, everybody loves this, the Florida governor. I won't say his name because I don't know if it's a flag or not. Everybody thinks he's such a great guy. And I think they thought I was being argumentative the one night when I went on over there at Liberty. And I wasn't trying to be argumentative. I was just trying to point out, yeah, he's got this great law. Did you guys read past line 1000? Because most people lose it around line 300. And if you don't read the entire document, you don't know that he actually mandated vacations in there, that they can physically detain you and give you
the vax or a vax.
You know what?
And the point was argued back to me, well, there's a lot of mentally ill. Well, there are a lot of mentally ill people anywhere. Does that give? So do you know what consider? No, and then it's a stickler for me, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but this is a sticking point for me, because mentally ill means mentally unbalanced. Well, mentally unbalanced, depression falls under that, bipolar, manic depression, anything like that. And how many in our world today suffer some form of that or have been diagnosed with some form of depression? A lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot. So that tells me that you're going to use any excuse that you have to, and that this is just yet another umbrella to cover your bullshit.
Yeah, that's what they was trying to implement on this new background checks for the second amendments for on the guns. They was wanting, okay, you had to pass a background check and even even if they went around and asking family members, whether your ex-wife and this and that, if they thought you was stable enough to own a firearm, excuse me, what ex-spouse is going to do that? None of them. So, and do a mental, like if you've had any kind of subscriptions or past known prescriptions on any kind of, not just antipsychotic drugs, but even lithium or anything that makes you helps with your bipolarness or your ADD,
Anything.
even.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. So if you were given a treatment at any point in your life, even in grief therapy, right, for losing a parent or a sibling or anything,
Yep.
anything at all, they can hold that against you. That's bullshit.
Yep.
It's a yeah, Pappy, they have to be certified, but with a different certification. You're absolutely right. Being mentally unbalanced is a prerequisite for political positions.
Well,
It's
I know that.
to the point where, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's to the point where we're seeing these things. We're trying to remove these people, and it's not working. And I think what Mike was saying last night, there it is. I think to a point in some areas, it's going to have to get somewhat physical, just to right the situation. I personally, my personal feelings are we need to abolish the systems entirely, all of them, because they are all corrupt and systems mean no good for people. No good. Anytime I hear them attach the word system to anything, right? Justice system, medical system, healthcare system,
Nope.
security system, I'm out. I'm out right there. As soon as they use it, I'm out. Because I already know what a system is, and I already know how a system works, and I already know it's corrupt to the core.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you polish the skin of that apple. When you bite into it, it's poisonous.
Well, that's a cleaner version than what I was going to say, but yeah.
Well, I do try to keep it nice.
Well, I mean, no, you know what I was going to say. No matter how much
Dawn,
you polish
that's
no matter how much you polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Yeah. Yeah. And Don makes a good point. Since when is having emotions illegal and a mental disease? Since they wanted
Right.
to use it as a form of control. Listen, I'm going to tell you a story. It's not going to paint my parents in a very colorful light. And I hate to speak ill of the dead. I've lost both my parents. They're both gone. But I'm going to tell you this story to relate to you just how twisted our world's been for a very, very long time. Okay. In the 80s, when my mom wanted to divorce my dad the first time, my dad had her consigned to the mental ward at the local hospital. Okay. And he was within his rights to do that with his wife. And all he had to do was say that she mentioned hurting herself. And my mom got taken in and kept in the mental ward for almost a month. Just because my dad said it and he signed the papers and they did it. So this has been going on for a very long time. There's no reason that we live in a society that has decided to color any of us they want to with a brush of their choosing, just to get what their outcome is completed. And I think when we talk about when we talk about things needing to change, I think there's no rebuilding a system. You're going to rebuild that. That has the essence of creating something that's in the same image as, and I don't want any part of that. Right? I'm sorry, but this is how I feel, and you guys are learning little bits about me that maybe can explain how I get to this point of view. Well, I mean, she got him back, kind of. He got I don't know what number DUI, because back in the day they didn't have limits on those, and he had to go to a alcohol anonymous camp thing for like 3 months. So, and it was actually like a rehab center in a big city, and we got to go visit him one time. I remember it was the first time I ever rode on a Greyhound bus. My mom bought me a brand new coloring book, which never happened. And I got a brand new pack of crayons, which never happened. So I remember that, you know?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is they have been overstepping for a very long time, and we have not seen it. Even before that, back in the 40s and the 50s, if a wife got mad at her husband or behaved in a way that her husband didn't care for, he could have her locked up. And all he had to say was, she's mad. Mad meant crazy, not angry. But it does mean angry. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Way back in the day, like 1920s, 30, you know, maybe even earlier than that, but around that time frame, even up to the 1940s, anytime that they was committed to a institution, I'll say that, they done shock treatment therapy straight up out of the box on people that didn't need it or deserve it. They did all kinds of experiments on these people, and even kept them drugged up on Quaaludes and tranquilizers and stuff that.
Or they did lobotomies for fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The one that flew over the cuckoo's nest. That was one of the ones that said it prominently, and that was a #1 movie on the year of our birth, Monty, 1975, and it said a whole bunch of really good stuff.
Jack Nicholson. Oh, wait a minute. What did you do? Which movie or which one did you say the title of the movie?
The one that flew over the cuckoo's nest.
Yes.
Give me 1 second, guys.
Jack Nicholson.
This is exponents, honey. That's fine.
I think that's square root.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you're right. That's square root. I'm sorry, not exponents. That's square roots.
Now you're talking about how they go in and want to change a system in some sort of way, like reform. No, you have to tear that system all the way down and build fresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
How I kind of look at it.
Yeah, it has to be wiped. It's got to, it's like an etch a sketch. It's got to be wiped completely and restart the whole entire thing over again.
And we'd have to really look at that. We'd have to look at that, but very good. Okay. But I want you to do the challenge. I want you to write.
I wish I already had my computer, because it was pretty tricky running this off my phone last night. I was like, at one time I was laughing so hard and I was trying to mute myself, and I was laughing so hard I was like, oh no, I'm gonna pull a Travis. One swipe of my thumb and I can wipe all of us off of this out of the live.
Yeah, and it's, you know, when people start talking about this, that, and the other, the plans, the rabbit holes, the outcomes, and I don't have any fear over the outcome. My only concern is when I start hearing people talk about rebuilding of things, it stops me straight in my tracks, and I'm hesitant like a donkey. I'm a hard-headed mule. I'm gonna tell you what. As soon as somebody starts talking about rebuilding, because this system is a system and it does not work. It is not workable.
No.
And so when they talk about rebuilding, listen to the words that people were using. Some of them are using them unconsciously. Some of them are very conscious in their use of them. When they start talking about equity instead of equality, where you know the word equality should be, and they start talking about equity, listen, start paying attention. When they talk about rebuilding, anybody that's talking about rebuilding that's in a political front, right? Something ain't right with them, because there ain't no rebuilding this. We need a clean slate.
That's what I'm saying.
A clean slate. We need to rework the blueprints, but we don't need to build the same thing over.
Well, it's just like if you need to do some home improvement and you needed to start fresh, you'd start fresh with a foundation, and then you go from there, and then you rough it in, and then you put the roof on, and then the sides. It just very last thing you put up there is your doormat. The last thing you put out there is your doormat and your mailbox. I mean, so
okay, so let's talk about like what options will we have if we're not going to rebuild the system that we're in. And I have suggestions, and I don't know whose ear you'd have to grab to hear them, but I think it would be, we go back to the state levels on all this stuff. And instead of making it a career for these people, straight deadline, straight cut term limits on every office. Okay.
Absolutely.
From
salary caps.
Yeah. Judges we need to be able to hold these judges accountable. You want to have tenure and sit on that bench? Okay, you will be reviewed by your peers in the community once a year to make sure that you are still providing legal justice or justice, period, because the legal stuff is all a scam anyway, too.
The law, the common law, what they're doing, the law nowadays, yes. The law back then, anything earlier than 1871 is different. Now,
exactly.
I don't know about reviewing a Supreme Court judge every year. I think their limits should be 10 years. Because
I think judges should rotate out. They can still be judges. But I do believe that if you move another office, you need a review at the time you're moving that office, and we'll not only review your financial records, but we will be questioning you and looking over your court cases to make sure
that
they are not corrupted.
Right. Yeah.
Overwatch.
But like politicians, anybody
like
that represents us, anybody that's council or a mayor or any of those positions, I propose that they have to have previously held a council position within the community they are living in. They have to have owned a business or owned land and been responsible within their community. And then they get pulled up like jury duty, where they don't have a choice but to serve in that role. But what they get in return for serving that role, say we are requiring you to serve council member 1 year. For that year, your farm gets what it made last year plus some, right? Because we're going to pay you plus some for doing this new job, but we're also going to keep you as an active, viable member of that community doing whatever you do, whether it's your business, whether you're running a a law firm or a grocery store or your agricultural farm or a dairy farm or whatever. All right. And then, like, you know, as you go up, representatives, 2 years. And it's a jury duty thing, because you're going to get people that don't want to represent people. They didn't want to ever step into that limelight, but they're going to be good at it because they have skin in the game. They have land, or they have a business. They have a reason to make sure that any law that's passed is healthy for their community. They have a reason to make sure that their neighbors are well taken care of, as well as themselves. So that's my proposal. You know, sure, we can use a skeletal frame here. We have to rebuild the foundation. The foundation, I believe, is the Constitution. I believe the foundation of our country is the Constitution and the Bill of Rights.
Okay. About owning and land. About them owning land for land first. Now that kind of reminds me of the feudal system, where the kings and lords and the you know, the knights, mostly the lords and the like that.
Okay,
you know, they all had they. I know.
You got. I understand your correlation.
Yeah.
Between the feudal system, but if you look at today's day and age, most people who live in a community that they've settled in, and this isn't so true in big cities and whatnot. Things would have to be rerouted around that, I'm sure. But no big tech companies, right? It would be business owners, local community business owners, local community landowners, or farmers, or somebody who's has skin in the game in their community. And that's the only reason I said landowners. If you look back at the way things were when the Constitution was first written, you had to be a landowner in order to vote. And they did that not for the feudal system, but they did that because that was the only verification that they had that you were a citizen of these United States before all the other crap came in, right? So that meant you had skin in the game. You had concerns and questions about your community and how it was going to be representative. What was going to happen there? Was it going to be taxed? Was it going to be this? Was it going to be that? And what was the payout at the end? And so I think that's what it is. I think it's the people. The thing about it too, Monty, my point is Pappy said it best right there. Sometimes the very best warriors and leaders are those that just wanted to be left alone. But when they're forced into doing that job, like you would for jury duty, they're really good at it. And they're going to do good things for their community because they are a vital part of their community. And this all rolls back into that one small town idea, too, that I've got going on back in my head. If you think of long game, if you think of...
Is it me or...
And, you know...
are you freezing up?
The long game in this, if we ripped it all down today, we're going to be at least a decade before we have anything function.
Freezing up. How you doing, Bonnie?
Fine. How are y'all?
But the way we live in America. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi, hon.
Can you guys hear us?
Oh, okay.
Good.
It freezing back and forth. Now they just left.
Yeah, they're gonna reboot.
See, maybe I should wait until they come back in. How you doing, Bonnie?
Good. How are you?
I'm above the earth and breathing, so I'm good.
There you go, above ground. As long as you're above ground, You're okay.
One of the things I think is they ought to be like in a community support service before they hold any offices, like working the homeless shelters or working something to help the community first. That way they get for a couple of years, like up to a total of 5 years before they're able to hold office. That way they know what it's like to actually have a grasp of helping mankind.
Right.
I agree with that.
That's kind of an idea. That's kind of an idea.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys, I know where the land ownership thing came from, okay? I'm not basing it off of the previous position, the feudal system, the monarchy. I'm not basing it off of any of that, not communism, not socialism, not Marxism, not any ism out there. I only think of it as like most of the people in our community own the houses that they're living in. They pass them down to their children.
Yeah.
That's the community that we live in. So for me, looking at it from my perspective, I'm looking at it from my community. In my community, most people that live here in Ohio that have settled here own their property, or they own the building they live in, or you know, they have
generation to generation.
And so when I look at it from my perspective, for my community, I think that not as a prerequisite, but as a consideration.
Right.
So if I was not saying that right, I'm sorry. But like, just like a business owner, you wouldn't pick somebody that owns a big tech company in your area. You'd pick the little guy.
Yeah.
The one with skin in the game. The one who has to face...
The local deli guy who actually is a true deli, not a deli in Walmart.
A guy who's serving his community through his business daily, right?
The guy
Those are the
tire
people
shop.
you want to look for.
Not Goodyear wrench, not good wrench, but a local tire guy. You know?
I understand what y'all are saying. Like the governor of, is it Wyoming? I can't remember what state she's in, but she is a ranch owner and has been raised with the family ranch all her life. But
right.
If you look at what Betty's saying, like that's all fine communities, but what we need to figure out is what is the purpose of the government and how to have it where it is totally serving the people. And so
strip it back down to what it was meant for. It was meant to tender money and to negotiate peace trades. That's really, I think, all the government was in place for.
That's what I was thinking, just foreign policies and to handle the money. And like
you know
Betty
what
was saying is about the American Indians, which is a good point of view also, but at the same time, we have to have that protection from foreign countries. They need to quit coming in and buying our land. They need to quit having so much control over our products. They need to quit. We can't
think that there used to be a law said that foreign entities were not allowed to buy land within the United States. I remember that being a law when I was little.
Well, I don't know what happened to it, but it needs to go. But
I can tell you,
it got lost along the way.
Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama.
Yep, exactly.
Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama. That's what happened to it.
Okay. But still, there needs to be some form of military that makes America strong again so that these other countries won't feel like they can come in and take over as they have. And so I don't know how to separate that, because in listening to some of the other channels, I hear people wanting to start up communities of their own, which I understand. Get these people out of the cities, hey, build a community. That's great. But I'm also hearing, well, I'm going to be the one in charge, and this is all going to be in my name. And, so I can see where
that's not a community. That's a fiefdom.
There could be a huge conflict there in the group. Yep. Look at Walking Dead. Hate to keep referring to movies, but that's there. There's always going to be one person that wants the complete power. And that's what has to stop.
Our presidents were supposed to be our spokesperson, not a king behind the scenes. The Congress was supposed to be a stopgap measure. So was the House of Representatives. All these things were supposed to be able to keep the power in for the people. The people got complacent, and they thought that the battle was won, and the war is ever raging on this.
All right, deplorable. Thank you. We'll check that out. And real quick here, love you, Betty. We'll see you later.
Love you, Aunt BB.
And hello, Crystal, and hello, Celtic.
Okay. I don't remember what I was saying. Remind me, please.
The communities,
All right. So community, if you look at, again, what a community means, right, is everyone working together. So, so let's think about communities. Let's think about what our forefathers had when they decided that they were enough was enough. They had 13 colonies of people. And a lot of those people didn't agree. They were complacent. They just wanted to keep going on with normal because normal they knew and they were comfortable with that. And people were scared of freedom because they weren't sure what it entailed, right? So not everybody had our forefathers' backs when they fought for them. Not everybody did. And so if we put it in that perspective, these men tried to set up a foundation for an entire nation to have a community, right? That's what they really, truly were trying to do. Everybody had their part, and everybody had somebody to represent them and what they had to say. And of course, we know that's been corrupted. It's been turned into a greedy power, a hungry little mud guppy.
Exactly. It's like everything is taxed. That needs to be dissolved too. Like,
exactly.
You know, this with my mother right now, and you were talking about your community where it keeps getting handed down generation to generation. Do you know what an inheritance tax is? Do you know how much it is? It is crazy ridiculous. And so, are your kids able to do that if you hand it down to them? And it's just, I don't know. There's so many things that just need to be gotten rid of that are holding people back from living that life that you're talking about. And that's why it just needs to be a clean sweep.
That's why I think everybody's really, even the people who have woken up a little bit and decided that they love their country and they don't want to lose it before it's all gone, right? Even those people that are just now opening their eyes and shaking off the sleep, even those people are listening to the rebuild talk, and they're going, oh yeah, that sounds good. That sounds really good. You know what? That's almost normal. I think I could do that. And the movement needs to not be about rebuilding. It needs to be about, and not even just correcting. I think we need a clean sweep. I really do. I think a lot of people feel that way. I don't think I'm alone in that.
Not at all.
And I think this one small town movement, I think I'm going to do a show on that. It's just, here's your forewarning, guys. I think I'm going to do a show where I talk all about that and show you guys documents and show you guys what that guy has to put up, because I'm still learning about it. But to me, it sounds remarkable. And it sounds like it's, and I could see it working in full swing and being something prosperous and beneficial to each and every one of us in our own communities, in our own little areas. Did we lose you again? Did we lose some, or did you guys lose us?
Monty's muted.
But this
he's doing something.
Well, I mean, and it's kind of like, goes right back to that fall cleaning, right? It's just as important to sweep away the dust and debris to be able to see the foundation clearly before you start building. It's just as important to fall clean as it is to spring clean. And for that reason. Exactly. And we've been fed a lot of garbage this year. All of us.
Yes.
From every direction, we've been fed garbage. So I think now's a good time to start cleaning out the garbage, throwing out things that don't serve a purpose anymore and things that you've outgrown.
Right. But we've seen that nothing has worked so far. Not legally, not voting, not, all of the methods that have been presented to us to be able to do that are not working. So now new methods need to be brought forth.
Exactly. Yeah, because what's going on now, what's been happening, this has to stop. And the only people that can stop it are we, the people.
Yep.
The only people that can fix this situation is us. And we can't organize our shit together under one solid flag, right?
Right.
In order to present the message that we want to present. And we all wish it would be done peacefully, but I don't know. I don't know.
Have you been watching?
We've got an active school shooter. Now, I just want you guys to think about this. That while 45 was in office, we had no active school shootings almost during that entire presidency. And as soon as Potato Head stepped his ass up there on the platform, it was like the same day or the next day we had a school shooting. And now we are having them all over the place again.
Yeah.
We have at least 10 of them
to take away the Second Amendment. Exactly.
That's all it's for.
It's planned. Dadgummit, what was I going to say? I don't know. Old age sucks.
I know. And it's like, we have a great group of patriots, right? We have but we're scattered. And how do we bring those folks in underneath us?
Yeah.
How do we get them on board with the idea that enough is enough? We're going to shut down your system. If you'd like to stay part of it, that's fine, but you do not control anything here. You have nothing to stand on, and we want no part of you anymore.
That's what I was going to tell you. You know what? I know this sounds totally crazy, but I absolutely think it's going to start right here. Texas is being absolutely overrun. And
yeah, you guys are being inundated.
Yes. And so this border thing, they're not showing the people who live from the border 40 miles in. They are being, their kids cannot go outside and play. Their properties are being broke into, their houses, their garages, their sheds. People are just camping out on their properties. They're not showing that side of it. They're showing, these poor people are needing a place to stay and they're coming in, and that's not the way it's going. And if they could see, look at how they blew up that officer on the horse. I guess he was one of the border patrol. He was hitting that guy with the reins. I'm sorry, but I don't think he was. Well,
right.
He may not have been, but I've ridden a horse all my life, and I don't think that's gonna just really hurt somebody. I can't see it. But even if he was doing that,
well, they're using it to cause division. They're trying to bait racial war. You cannot. None of us can fall victim to that. On either side, it's no side. Come on, man, we're all human beings. The color you wear does not dictate anything different, right? I mean, we're all human beings.
Right.
That's my race. That's what I claim.
That's what I can't believe is that the whole world saw the little boy walking alone when the sheriff found him because the group left him. The 4-year-old standing at the wall crying his heart out because he had been left. The whole world saw this and nothing, absolutely nothing was done. How can that be? It's just.
And where were that child's parents? If that child's parents gave that child up to men that they knew would abandon him in the height. I have no respect for people like that. And there was a time when they said nobody was checking credentials of the people who were adopting these children and fostering them. And I thought, man, a bunch of us moms ought to go down there and pick up a whole bunch of them kids and teach them the right way. But you know that wouldn't have been accepted.
Exactly. And I would totally agree with that. But this is not the way it's being done. You have MSM that is putting this out there in the way they want to put it, the government that's putting it out there the way they want to put it. And
mine, you can have it.
Then you have the truth that's not being shown. And like Abbott, he just sent tons of DPS troopers down there to just line a wall of cars to block these people from coming in. And Texas is, well, you know which ones, are all pissed off about that. Well, I'm sorry. I feel like we should all be down there in a line blocking our border. I wish my body was better because I would be down there and I would have a megaphone and I'd be yelling my head off because I'm done. This is just, and you know, like you said, you have pride in your community, you have pride in your state, you have pride in your country, and it's not a bad pride. It is born into you. It's your livelihood. It's your future generations. It's your past generations. I'm seventh generation Texas that I know of on my mother's side and probably further on my father's. And so we built this state and you just don't even know how much it upsets me what is going on here. And I know that that's the least of my worries right now, but it's still, that is going to affect everything that else that is going on, even just in my life personally. All of this is all combined together. If that makes any sense at all.
It does. It does. And Gary was saying, yeah, we all need to go down to the border. And why shouldn't we go down and off? You know what?
It's going to affect every state even.
Why can't a group of these militias together? Why can't we get a group of these guys together that are on the they come on there and talk to the local constitutional sheriff, and you get those and ladies, deputies, to stand in places where they don't have enough people to stand, that they know are major crossings, and they stand there. I'll go down and feed them. I'll cook for them. I know I can do that. I know how to cook for a large group of people. You know, why can't we do something like that? Why can't we go camp out in these other ranchers' backyards that are on the border whose properties are getting screwed? You know, you got to leave your cabins unlocked so that the doors don't get kicked in, just so you don't have to keep buying doors. You know, that's crap.
That's exactly the way
it is
I
our
feel.
country.
Are you just going to let strangers just walk through your front door and camp out? No. And that's what they're doing.
And you know why? I know why. This is happening because we've all been dutifully trained by society that we live in to be super hyper afraid of what other people think of us.
Yep.
Screw what you think of me. I know why I'm here, right?
Nothing to do with anything other than humanity. Freedom.
We have to love our neighbors. We don't have to like them. There's no rule that said we had to like them.
Now,
love is a whole lot stronger.
Honor.
And we don't have to support them. I mean,
I'm sorry, Monty, you wanted to say something, honey.
I was waving to Tracy Q and everybody else down there that was saying hi. No, one reason it's better just to leave your house unlocked anymore is because of how the justice system stands up for the criminal instead of the actual homeowner. Because a criminal, there was a story of a criminal that broke into this house with an attached garage while these people was out on vacation. He got stuck in the garage and had nothing to eat but cat food or dog food. And so whenever they showed up, the cops was called, this and that, because, hey, you come home, there's a stranger, locked up in your garage. And he ended up suing the homeowners, and he won. And that's how retarded our justice system is. And so therefore...
All right, first off, let me fix something for you. Okay? And I don't usually do this, but I'm going to be a grammar fanatic right now. It is not a justice system. There is no justice in it. It is a legal system. There's a lot of legal in it, but there is no justice in it.
You know what I was talking about.
The justice system. Yeah.
I know. I was being a smart ass.
We have to start turning the words a little bit more, though.
But we have to be more aware because this is how we wake people up.
Yep.
First off, there's no justice being served in that system. Right? Secondly, you've already attached the word system to it because you know that's what it is. It's a system.
But there's no legal either because how is there any law making that okay?
Exactly right.
And this is where we need to completely wipe the slate clean. Because every law they've written has been a loophole to a previous law. Laws were supposed to be put into place to protect the people. And instead, they have been put into place to loophole for other people. And so that they are allowed to be interpreted now. Laws were never meant to be interpreted on an individual basis. Okay? Like, let's take jaywalking for an example. All right? Now, we know what it really means, right, is to walk backwards. Well, you used it for just crossing the street. So somebody who knows the real meaning of the word, right, is going to take that literal and say, I didn't break any laws. Because the law is written this way with the vernacular being this way. And so you could probably legally win that in court if you could prove the definition and the intent of the definition. Now, the other guy crossed the street and got it for jaywalking because he didn't cross in the approved area, and he can probably make another claim because the laws that are written around the jaywalking law are the loopholes. So that if you know how to use their terminology and their definitions, you can skip rope right through all those loopholes. Those are not noose holes; those are loopholes.
Yep.
And loops make systems.
Yes. I called my sheriff and I had a talk with him and I asked him if he's constitutional. Definitely. And he has worked the border and he's blazing fuming about that. And I asked about martial law. Never in his county, period. And I said, okay, thank you.
You know what? That's the first step, really. Call your county sheriff and find out if they're a constitutional sheriff. Because those are the guys you need to know if they're on your side or not. But too, Bonnie, you could carry that further. You could call that sheriff back up and have another nice little chat with him and ask him, Militias are legal in this country, and they're all over the place. And these people are the people that want to help. Is there not a way that we could legally bring those folks down here to help out with the border, even if we had to temporarily deputize them?
He said
to make citizens arrest or anything like that? Because there are many patriots who would stand up and come down and help right this minute if they knew that if they knew that the law enforcement had their back.
Then that will take some phone calls, and you're going to give me work to do. Because the border teams are the ones that we would need to clear that with and see what their sheriffs are like. But I'm pretty sure they're on board with that because of what's happening in their communities.
Exactly.
Our sheriff,
and they could all just be.
He said that if he needed to deputize anybody, he would, as long as they are of sound mind. He can deputize anybody.
Yep.
So I would assume that goes for any sheriff.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. He can reach out to all his other fellow sheriffs along the borderline, and I'm going to bet most of them people down there that are in those offices along the border are enough. I watched a bunch of those sheriffs talk when 35 was down there. Oh, also, real quick note, guys. If you're going to talk about things in chat, it's more than welcome. But there are words that are true. If I can't say T's name up here and I call him 45, I think you could do me the courtesy of referring also to him by some other acronym than by his name, which will be flagged. I appreciate that genuinely from my heart. So
what's going on?
You guys know who you are. No, nothing. I was
I'm
putting out a little, Oh, somebody had used T's name earlier, and so I was just putting that out there because it was earlier. And most of you guys know how to code talk a little bit, but I'm not scared to talk about this topic. I don't want to get taken down when this is a place for you guys to come and chill and relax, to express your opinions and with some stuff out. Like what we're talking about today, I think this is getting some ideas out there. Somebody's juices are flowing, right?
Hey, guess what?
I always have faith that whatever message is supposed to reach whatever person it does. I have faith in that.
What's that, Monty?
Yeah.
Speaking of Mr. T's name, I was privileged to have two presidents up on my panel last night. President Bush and President T.
Wow.
The same person. And he spelled it out. He spelled it out though, and I'm like, brother, Riddle. And then he came in as LeBron James. I was like, you're pulling a mommy.
Part of taking our country back is going to be somebody talking to these different groups that are patriots that are out there that are ready at a moment's notice to stand up for our country and to get these guys in touch with the patriotic military that are still out there. And I think we have to go through vets for that to some extent, or people who are still semi-active. You guys know the kind of people I'm talking about. Or know somebody that knows somebody, the people. And I think that's the start, right? And we go down there and we shut down that whole mess. We get it done right and legally. Right? We're going to have to do it legally because that system is still in place right now. But I still think we can. Maybe it starts with a phone call to a sheriff who said, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let me call the other sheriffs." Right? It could start that simply. So everybody, call your local sheriff. Find out.
Yep.
Because protecting the people is what we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. These people flying in and out of these cities, right? They're flying these people in and out. Big Gov is flying these people in and out of state sovereign cities, right? Those are state areas. Those are not government federal areas. And I would think, though, with the way the laws are written, it may work in our favor that the sheriffs can say, no, not here. Right?
Wrong. They're flying them into
some
bases,
areas. In some areas. Go ahead.
They're flying them into military bases, and military bases are federal.
Okay, but the second they step off that military base, that's not federal property anymore.
Yeah.
That's state property.
So
that's
the
state
thing.
property. Sheriffs literally stay outside that military gate, and the second it's open and they walk through that gate, can arrest them for being illegal on state land. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
they want to use legal, then let's get legal on them. Let's get legal on their asses. Fine.
Federal officers trump the sheriff, actually. Somehow, don't ask me why. But if you see these buses moving in and out of the bases with these people, I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something that maybe you know, maybe you don't know, but a lot of federal officers are people who are licensed to cross state lines with a ward of any given state. Okay, and most of them are more like mercenaries for hire than they are officers, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I've met a lot of federal officers, and most of them are very nice people. All right, they're a little akin to bounty hunters. And I think Mutt would appreciate my correlating correspondence there, because they're trained in a wide variety of laws, a wide variety of skills, and that's why they're licensed to do that. And most of them are genuinely good people who don't take their orders from bucketheads. And they are forced. Those are the kind of people, federal officers that are crossing state lines and are doing transports and stuff. Those are the kind of people who have to use their right now on the ground situational awareness in order to make decisions. And so they know legal wise what they are and are not allowed to do, and how to push it through the hole without crossing the line.
Are you talking about that 3-letter agency that starts with an F?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about federal officers.
Federal officers.
Which is a branch of law enforcement.
So who would they be? That's what I'm wondering. Where's our Texas Rangers?
They're kind of like bounty hunters. They're everywhere. They're nowhere. They're everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not another group. It's like a group. But it's an off section of the police.
It's another area of our law enforcement.
They have several,
but they are licensed to be able to carry property, and that could be property, could be evidence, it could be people, like prisoners and whatnot, guns. It could be they're authorized and licensed to carry these across all states in the continental U.S. But they are law enforcement. They are not military. They are not government in that essence.
Yeah, they're
just like we know in cities. There's a big difference between a city cop and a sheriff.
Yes.
Right. And that was always taught to us growing up. If you have problems with the city cop, because cops work for the city, they don't work for the people. But sheriffs work for the people. And it's always been one of those things. If you ever have a problem with a cop, have them call the sheriff. And we're taught that. Even in driving class, we were taught that.
you have any distinction, they give you any rough, you call a sheriff.
And if you're on a highway, you call the state patrol.
Or then if you can't get a sheriff,
because the state patrol, I think, are set up about the same way.
They're just under a sheriff. They can't go across state lines.
No, but they're over. So sheriff is county. Sheriff is county, and state patrol is statewide, and then federal officers would be the nationwide.
Blah. Kind of switched around a little, every which way there.
Well, exactly, Don.
That's why.
Yeah, it's power. It's power grab. It's all about power. It's all about control.
Sheriffs can't cross into another county without the other sheriffs knowing. State troopers cannot cross over across the state line without the other side knowing. Therefore, back in the 30s, during the mafia, the mob and stuff, that's why the FBI was made. And then you got U.S. Marshals.
See, and I heard that they were made just to push paper. That Federal Bureau thing you were just talking about.
I have a question.
They originally was.
I have a question for you guys. What about the Rangers, the Texas Rangers? I mean, we grew up knowing those guys were the heroes that come and save the day, right?
That's what I said. I want to know
like
where
the
Texas
ultimate
Rangers
for the people, law enforcement.
Yeah.
Why don't you reach out to your sheriff and talk to him about the Texas Rangers? Find out, for heaven's sake. I know that organization still exists.
Yes. Chuck Norris is.
You never see or hear anything about them because they're kind of like the law enforcement special forces, aren't they? Down there.
They are. They were the first law of Texas. And so if we
and you know what? While you're at it, email your governor, Mr. Abbott, and your Secretary of State and be like, hey, why can't we do this?
Yeah, I've reached out to them.
Have you?
But, yeah. But if we
good luck
have
with Abbott.
Do what?
I said good luck with Abbott.
See, and I love him. I'm sorry. If we have a murder here in our town, okay, and or if it's something that anyway, the Texas Rangers have had to come here to investigate even our law enforcement because of something or other. So they have power over our law enforcement, from what I understand, maybe even the sheriff. And I guess no other state has that.
I don't think so, but I think that's a saving grace for Texas as well. It can be if they are still who they are purported to be. You know what I mean?
Yes. If they still hold that code of honor, yes. That's worth a try.
And your constitutional sheriff may have know-how how to get a hold of them or reach out to them, or it may put a light bulb on in his head, and then he knows exactly what to do, from that point.
That's true.
You never know. I mean, look, our Creator works in mysterious ways, and it's just like, we were talking about right in the beginning there. It is amazing to me. We follow the circuit just like all the rest of you, and I'm sure you guys have noticed it, but there are parallels in everyone's conversations, and it's not like we're calling each other up talking about the same thing, and we're all going to cover this today or tomorrow, right?
Right.
It's something that's happening within our collective consciousness. It is God coming through us saying, these things need to be discussed and put out there right now. The right people will grab this idea and know what to do with it. And I have firm belief that that's true, and that we are all connected, and that when ideas come, they come from the Creator. So your ego is the only thing wanting you to take credit for an idea, because that idea is coming from the Creator, right? So my thought processes on that is that you put the idea out there, and somebody's going to speak it in the way that the person that needed to pick it up and roll with it is going to be right. You know what I mean? The right person is going to get that information at the right time. And we're going to see things happen. Even if we ourselves don't know how to go about making those things happen, if we're putting the ideas out there and sharing them out loud, the right people will get a hold of them and know what to do with them. I have faith in that.
Can I answer Dawn Light? She said she thought it was legal to shoot someone in defense of property in Texas. Yes, but in a certain way. I'm not real sure how that goes. I know people here who have not gotten in trouble for doing that, but down towards the border, it all probably goes back to the sheriff and all that. I'm not real sure. Me, yes, I would do it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, like different states have different measures on that stuff. I know in North Carolina, if you have to shoot someone in self-defense, they better have been on your porch. And so the joke was, when I first moved to North Carolina, was if you ever got to shoot somebody, you better drag your ass up on the porch before you call the police. Right? Because those are how the laws are written with these little things. But in the Constitution, we have the right to bear arms to protect ourselves, our property, our families, our communities, you know.
And that's what I was told, to drag them through the window. Like they had to be in the house. But I do know one that was on the porch and no charges were filed.
Yeah, and they have to be in the act of, or committing the act of, your life has to be in extreme danger. In Ohio, it used to be you weren't allowed to stand your ground. You had to run and be completely back to the corner with no way of escaping any way whatsoever before you were allowed to take your enemy down. And to me, I'm sorry, if you're on my property in the middle of the night and you've got no business being here, you're already meaning ill towards somebody or something, right? You're done. That's it. You're too close for comfort if you're even near the end of my driveway, period. And we used to be able to have those kind of rights where we could defend all of our property, all of our family, and some of these laws that are made, the only loopholes are for the criminals.
Yes.
It's bloody ridiculous. Really, it is.
It's backwards.
Yeah. Exactly. And they've done this by slow but sure measures and gotten us used to it.
Year
after year
of just different little things to be able to put things in place so they can slip something else in. Okay, it's time to put this bill in, and nobody's going to mock the bill in because they have enough behind them with other bills that just prove that they need this other bill. And then people over the years have just kind of stopped paying attention to bills, not reading them, and got to the point where, I'll take an example. I don't know if any of you guys know this or not, but I was able to have, we were watching the one night, not just me, but my wife and I, we were watching Scott McKay, and he stated, and I wish I could remember the state representative that he was talking to, but he stated, he said, Scott, he goes, there's 127 seats. And if those seats don't get filled by a Republican or a Democrat, the Democrats themselves up in the House, they appoint seats. And this is how bad it's gotten.
Yeah.
Because people don't want to go and step up a little bit and part of the political everything. And then we also know money talks, BS walks. So you do know certain things. If you're not paying attention, they will walk all over us, and that's what it's to do. So you take that for a little bit and wow, and a lot of us are. I'm not saying we're not. Just for anybody that's out there, it's going to take that turn to start paying attention to the local area and getting right back down to brass tacks.
Do you know if it was Bob Hall that he was talking to?
I'm not too sure. Like I said, I wish I could. It might have been. Might have been. I'd have to go back. Well, I don't know if it was back when he had Patriot Street Fighter 3.
Okay.
I don't know if those
'Cause
videos are still
I
on there or
usually
not,
watch-
but I'd have to go back to watch them.
Yeah. I usually watch Scott, and I did see him with a sheriff for Dallas, and he was running,
Yes.
and he sounded really, really good too.
And we've looked into that Sheriff Mack and the constitutional lawyer thing, So
mhm.
once again, yeah, right back to that's all we can do is promote it, just to make sure that from
Yeah.
what I've heard, a lot of them already started signing up to that. So
I think there's a lot going on. Conservative Cowboy and Conquer Your Future. You guys are making great points out there. I really like that Tulsi Gabbard, and I don't care what letter she puts after her name. I like that she's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in on the surface, at least. And yeah, immigration is a very complex issue. It does not need to be simplified by any of the boneheads out there in the media world. Because it is always a lot more complex than any of us even know. There are laws that exist for immigration that most people don't even know. I remember I met this Chinese woman who she was in prison, and I was working as a paraprofessional, as a teacher's aide for English as a first or as a second language, English as a second language, and GD courses for adult prisoners. So, pardon us 1 minute, Bonnie. You'll have to fill the silence for me.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I'm reading y'all's chat to see what do I talk about? Anything the Democrats are against is good. You're right. Celtic Mutt, I saw you say something about chasing the FEMA off of your porch. There were no repercussions from that? That's awesome. I don't know how much power FEMA has. The only way I know FEMA is through my ex-husband worked for a National Park Service and fought forest fires through them and did the space shuttle recovery through them. So I'm not exactly sure what their job is. I don't know. Oh no. Yeah. And that's what I've been afraid of. That's why I called my sheriff to see what he thought about that too. And no, nobody's going to come in and ask if we have for any of our medical information. We'll put it that way. So it still leaves the
So
question.
sorry about
Oh, there you are. Good. Are you there?
I can what you're saying, hun. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Still leaves the question.
Whoa.
How do we sweep?
Oh, sweet.
How do we sweep the floor clean? Yeah. No, I'm with you. But all we can do until we figure that out is talk about it, because somebody's going to know, and we're going to be able to do something, get something started, forward motion, right? An object in motion stays in motion.
True. You know, I even thought about, I think I've told you, just going down in front of my courthouse with my flag and just sit there, flag and Bible. Go ahead.
There you
try to
go.
make me move.
Yeah,
There
we
you
have
go.
a gentleman that comes down to the square where we're at. He not to say per se preaches, but he
He has a
speaks the
sign
Lord,
out.
and he's got
Yep.
a sign, and you know, the end is coming, and
Oh, well, I wouldn't go that
So-
far, but it's
yeah, he gets be saved, and which he's right. I mean, to a sense, you know, he has that right.
Well,
and like I
Definitive.
said here, we're pretty safe, so it probably wouldn't do much good. But the thing is, if you can get a news channel out there and just start getting this stuff, anything that's going on that is in a good way, get the news out there if you can. News stations, usually if you call them, especially the small ones, they'll come. We have one that's for the hill country only, and they come for everything. If we think there's going to be a tornado, they're here to film it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
And you're right. That's it. It needs to be covered. It needs to be getting out there to the people who are still watching that stuff, unfortunately. But
Yes.
you know, you never know who's going to pop across this and go, wow, I didn't realize the conversation was going to include that. But so back to my story. So this woman had 3 children in China during the end of the one-child policy and the beginning of the 2-child policy, but she ended up having 3 children long before the 3-child policy became into a
Which
thing.
was just now.
Ooh.
All right, so, and she lived in a farmland, a small little farming area. Wasn't rich by any means, was just a normal everyday person. And they came to her, and they basically, it was, all right, we you get to pick which one of your kids we kill, or you can take these drugs to America. And so that's how she got busted in America. And she was in prison. And
Oh my goodness.
she was
To save her child's life.
yeah, she was a real sweet woman who just lost raising her 3 children. And because she could never go back to China, because once, and this is an immigration law in America, we're not allowed to send people back to a country that'll kill them just for serving time in our country. And a lot of people don't even know that law is out there. But immigration can't send her back, won't send her back, because she will face the death penalty just for having been imprisoned in the United States.
Right.
And so there are a lot of things on the issue of immigration that people, everyday people, do not understand if they've never dealt with anything to deal with it. You know, I mean,
Bye, Crystal.
yeah, you guys have a great day. I know everybody's jumping off and going over to Jeff.
We're gonna be getting off here too.
Yeah, we'll be getting off here to get dinner done soon. But fall cleaning, guys, it's important that we clean out these ideas and get them out there into the big wide world, right?
Yep.
Stir up that dust. Make the phone
Make a
calls.
dust ball.
Stir up the dust. Get somebody's light bulb turned
Make
on.
them dust bunnies run rabid.
Oh. But yeah, Bonnie, that's the first step, right? Is calling your sheriff and finding out where they stand. Find out where they stand.
And then just start working your way up.
Working your way up.
Yep.
Right.
And don't be afraid to reach. Don't be afraid to reach back out to them after you've had a conversation with them and ask them to help you reach further.
And
Yeah.
sometimes just learning how to write something, and this is part of the grammar thing. I'm not saying nobody knows how to, that people don't know how to write. You do know how to write.
Language is important, though.
If you want to help try to change the law or want to help, we're finding out that we can actually write bills. All we have to do is just get a group of people together. It's kind of like the same thing as making a what's that called?
When 2 or more are gathered, right?
And then we present it to legislature. We can do this. We're allowed. We are the people. And that's the thing. I think that's what's gotten pulled away from the people a long time ago, and then a little bit trickled after that. Well, that's the whole thing. It isn't hard to do. And it's called syntax grammar. We're finding out more and more that it's all on how it's written. And if you place certain placements in all these certain areas, you can override some of the bills that they're even trying to put in place, and some of these people out of the positions that they're in, thinking that they can't be voted out when you have a whole group of people that just voted you without a vote, but by a signature that you're done.
Gary, I can't wait to hang out with you.
It's like yanking
That's
them right
going
out
to
of
be
the
so
seat.
much fun.
Like going right in their office and yanking them right out of their seat and placing somebody in there that you know it's going to work and do the job.
Yeah. And see, that's a lot of people don't like Ted Cruz. And I am seeing him up
He's
there
okay.
fighting like crazy for us. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Kind
I
of.
mean, I
There
know
are
they're
people
all
trying
bad.
to do the right things for the right reason. There are people trying to do the right things for the image it presents. And there are people trying to get away with doing whatever the hell they want to. And I kind of feel like politicians fit into one of those 3 categories.
Yes, I agree. But
So-
right now, he's what we've got.
Over me.
Yeah. And you know what? At least you know where he comes from, as far as he's got a track record of speaking his mind. And so you
Yeah.
can always go back and find out what he said before about the same said
Think
subject,
so. Might
you know, for comparison. It's not like, and that's the thing, people, here's one thing, and it bothers the heck out of me, because people can change. And they can change because they want to, or they can change because they got religion. They can change because they found God. And those are not necessarily the same thing, guys. People can change, though. And we as humans, just as everyday human beings know this, but we're unwilling to give people second chances, and to we're unwilling, I think, sometimes to use our own discernment once we've built once somebody has built a reputation. And I think that's the beauty of My Pillow guy. I think that's the beauty of him, is because he flat out tells you what he used to be, and every time they try to tear him down for it, he's like, here's who I am now, watch this shit.
That proves it.
Can I do a commercial for him real quick?
You sure can.
I splurged and bought a set of the sheets. Oh my goodness, they are amazing.
My
Worth
Pillow,
everything.
mystore.com. Yeah, I would promote him. I would absolutely promote him, because I think he stands for what a lot of people, if we had the money, we would probably be doing along the same lines of what he's doing, or we'd be pulling our resources with him if we had those kind of resources,
Right.
because he took it from an everyday American citizen's point of view, and he had the money to back it up. And that's the only thing that makes him different than the rest of us. But so I love that the Patriots fell in line there behind him and are supporting him. And he's trying to get like stores together that are all made in the USA stuff. And he's very blunt about how he feels about stuff. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that in people. I'd take blunt honesty any day over sugar-coated farts, because that's what the rest of it is, sugar-coated turds. And they can keep that shit.
All
Well,
right.
and I'm all for American made, and you may pay a little more for it, but support it.
Yeah.
We have to, because that's the only way we're going to bring the prices down, is by supporting it. If they can make more for America, then they can bring those prices down. And as long as we're buying it from America, prices will go down. But if we don't start, it won't be like it was. And I'm talking about.
But I think I'd like to
before the
see that
80s
too.
when we were buying American cars,
Individual
not
state
foreign.
sovereignty, individual states having their own power, but having and if you guys have not checked out that Convention of States yet, please go check out Convention of States. There's even a .gov site for it. Just Google it, look for the .gov references, and find out what it is. Is your state involved? Is it part of it yet? If not, how do you get to be part of it? Who do you call?
Yeah, because we can make the difference. That's the whole thing.
For the Convention of States, please look it up. I don't have the link off the top of my head, Robert, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I will research it, have it all put together, and tomorrow I will have links, and maybe we'll talk about the Convention of States stuff.
It is
tomorrow.
Happening.
It is happening. There are 15 states currently that are into it. I know Ohio was set up to be voted on for it, but I have not seen any results of that vote for Convention of States. So we'll probably be doing something like that this week, I think. Okay, what's that, babe?
Well, who is that already signed up to that? That was Steele. Steele. Not Robert Davis Steele.
Van der Steel.
Van Andersteel.
And Van der Steel.
Okay.
I think.
Isn't that what she signed
Oh,
up to?
my link. Oh, yeah, Robert.
Oh.
Yeah. Hold on, honey. All right, questions for Bonnie. Well, I'm going to go ahead and turn our camera off for a minute. I'll be right back, but Jeff will still be here. But
Yep. Come on up here, Robert. Yeah. Take a little time to get people realizing what's going on and to get it figured out, and knowing how much power that we really truly do have as patriots and the common people.
Yeah, it's funny what they do, though, to pull your attention away from the most important drastic.
That's why, yeah. And I think that's the whole thing. I think a lot of people need to start, which has gone in a good direction so far, and that's becoming stronger with their belief in their higher spirit of God and Jesus, and knowing that they have to be. They're starting to get that backbone, and once they have that backbone, then we can move on to actually sticking up for ourselves, because then you have the structure behind you. You have that backbone, that link, spiritually, wholesomely, and community wide, and it makes it very strong, very strong. Hello, Robert.
She brought us another
Good
one.
morning.
Hat.
Hi, Robert.
Morning, brother.
Just after lunch for you, isn't it? Or is it just before lunch?
I'm hosting some what do you call them? Tuna. I'm hosting a tuna charter boat captain and its crew.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
They kept me up till 3 a.m. Holy. Anyway, I
I
got
bet
questions for
good
Bonnie.
time.
I got a few questions for Bonnie about Austin, Texas.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about it?
About
Are you
Austin?
close to it?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you
I
close?
am.
Hold on, semi's going by. Pardon me?
Austin is blue.
It's blue?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
It's
shit.
it's I don't know. When Mr. T was in office, and or right after in November, there were a lot of boat parades on Lake Travis, and it was pretty full. So they're out there. It's like they're just hiding. I don't know what is keeping everyone so silent here right now. That's what worries me,
Yeah,
because we have all the reason in the world to be yelling our heads off and trying to get people in Texas to rally up against the border and against everything. It just seems really hard right now for some reason, and I don't know what happened.
my son's going to move there.
He is. Okay.
My youngest, yeah. He had a divine intervention the other day, and he was offered a career position that he can't turn down.
Well, that's good. I mean,
That's
I know there's a really
It's
good
awesome.
job.
How far are you away from Austin?
I'm about an hour.
Wow. So you know the Moody Center.
Moody Center. I don't know if I know the name.
It's where Texas A&M College plays football.
Oh, okay.
I think they're building a new stadium, right?
I'm not sure.
300.
I don't keep
300.
up with the news in Austin.
Oh, it's like 300 and some with 300 and some $1 million stadium. My son's going to be second in charge. He'll be second in charge of the stadium beverage department.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, he's going to move.
If he possibly can. I don't know if he's already got an area in mind, but I would say west, if possible.
West Austin, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Like
I was going to write this stuff down.
northwest, or there's
He's my baby.
Oh, I understand. And there's a town just outside of Austin. It's called Leander.
Leander,
Leander, Leander.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good area. Georgetown's not too far.
This is going to be interesting. I might be able to come see you.
No, that would be cool.
Yeah, it's not too far, I don't think, is it? Is Texas in the middle or Austin in the middle?
It's where the star is.
Oh,
when
it
you
is.
look, when you look at the map, Austin is the capital, and
Oh,
so
shit.
that's why it's
okay.
so
Yeah, it's
controversial.
kind of liberally. It's the same in every capital almost.
Yes, and actually, the whole I-35 corridor
Okay.
from Houston to Dallas, lot of blue there.
Does it get hot as hell?
It usually does, but Monday was our hottest day of this whole year, and it got up to 97.
Oh,
And
shit.
I remember 180 days of 100 plus degrees. So we really had a nice summer this year.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be It's going to be interesting for him.
Yeah. And
He met some millionaire dude, right? Yeah. This is in Green Bay because he's worked for the Packers since 2006, I think.
so are you in Wisconsin?
No, I'm in California. My family's in Wisconsin.
Okay. My stepfather's from Peshtigo.
Yeah, really? I know right where that is.
Yeah.
Huh. That's my neck of the woods. That's my neck of the woods.
All right.
Used to be. You know what's weird? The people that we bought this cabin from out here in California are from 20 miles from where I was born in Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
That lady knew that, and then because the daughter, we did the sale through the daughter, and she came and looked at the house and she started crying. And she goes, "I can't believe this. You're from the same place my parents are, and you have the cabin set up just like my parents did." And she was crying. She started crying. Man. Oh my God.
Aww.
But
Well, yeah.
he met some millionaire that runs all the concessions at these stadiums. It's called Delaware Foods or some. I don't know.
Yeah.
His flight was delayed, and my son offered to take him to dinner. And at the end of it, the dude said, "Hey, I know why I came to Green Bay, and I know why my flight was delayed is because I was supposed to meet you." Oh shit!
Intervention.
Yep. So
That's awesome.
I got chills because my son's talking about this stuff that I didn't teach him yet.
Yeah.
It's divine intervention, Dad. Like you said, he took part of what I said, but not all of it.
Yes.
He's like, now he understands. I said, dude, this gives me goosebumps and shit.
Well, there's a couple of us.
I think that was a Harley.
There's about 4 of us Texas ladies that have gotten in touch with each other that y'all see on the channels all the time. Becca H, Belle Star. Belle Star is close to Austin.
Oh yeah, Becca too, huh?
Becca's in Houston.
Wow.
I keep telling her to get up here, and she really wants to, but I don't know what her situation is. And then there's another one, Patriot Girl or something like that, and she's up in Dallas. There's several of them up in Dallas, but it seems like I'm pretty alone down here in the middle, and but I'm finding them, and that's what I'm working on,
Sorry, one of the goats broke.
doing some things with the charters and stuff.
What, ketchup?
But if your son,
Oh,
um, I don't know, I don't know what kind of income he's going to be making, but Dripping Springs is west of Austin on 290, and
Yeah.
that is a really good area. Also, it's
Yeah.
it's growing, but it's still country. It has an HEB. HEB is our main grocery here because they help. Anytime there's a hurricane, anytime there's anything, the HEB trucks are on the road, headed to it to make sure that they have food and water, and they're like the first responders of our state.
That's cool.
It's a really good company. It's a great company to work for too. That's what I'm trying to get my girls to do, but they're being hard-headed.
Yeah, they made him an offer he can't refuse. That's where he's going.
That's good. That's good to hear, Robert. I'm glad to hear that. That's yeah, my stepdad, he's getting up there in age, and he's probably won't be able to go back up to Wisconsin until that's where he wants to go when he passes. But
Oh, really?
he's retired military, and
It's interesting.
a lot of stories there. Yeah. I think he was in Korea and Vietnam.
Oh shit! That's what my stepdad was too.
Mm-hmm.
He's still alive. He's still kicking. But it
Yeah.
trips me out. He's sick as hell, but he's okay. He's making it.
Yeah. My stepdad, he got lung cancer, and they said it was totally from the Agent Orange.
Wow.
But he got over it. I mean, they fixed it.
Well, thank you for the information. I'll pass that on to him.
You're welcome. And any other questions you have me, Heather has all my information, my email, if you want to email or whatever.
Okay.
And then that way he has a contact here if he needs it.
All right. I'm hoping he comes here, and then next year I can go there.
So you're in California.
Yeah.
Southern or northern?
I'm the northernmost you can get.
Oh, okay. My brother is in Petaluma,
Get out of here.
close to Sonoma, and
Get out of here.
yeah,
I just moved out of fucking Petaluma.
really.
Yeah. That's how I've only been here a year.
Look how connected we are. Yeah.
Hey, if you want to tell your son lives there?
My brother.
Oh,
my
your brother?
Yeah.
Tell him you met somebody who lived next door. I mean, across the street from Petaluma Airport. Everybody
Okay,
knows
I
where that
will.
is.
He works for
That's-
Caltrans, and he builds bridges.
Yeah, he knows where it is. I know he does.
Yep.
That's funny, man. That's trippy, huh?
Yeah.
Petaluma is the ugliest dog contest in the world. That's where that is. I never knew that till I moved there.
He's never told me that.
Yeah. Across the pass from Napa wine country, actually.
Yeah. And
It's only 20
he wants to leave California so bad, but he retires, I think, in 5 years. So
Wow.
he's waiting until then.
I know a lot of people. My brother's doing that too.
Yep.
Nancy here too. I don't know if you guys saw her pop up or not, but there she goes.
Nancy, I don't know if
She's also deep in the heart of Texas.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
just right around the corner from here. Just
From
right about 2 miles from the Mansfield Dam.
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know
From
Texas.
Mansfield Dam?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Then see, she knows the area better than I do, but that's the area that I love. Is
Yeah.
if I have to go into Austin, is Lakeway or 360, that area.
That's a good there. It's a nice. Yeah, we don't have to leave Lakeway anymore. With Bee Cave came up like it did, and everything. We have everything you could possibly imagine.
Does do you know if there's a stadium being built too? I didn't see it online.
Stadium.
Yeah,
Um,
some new stadium that Texas A&M is going to be playing at next year.
I don't have any clue. I don't keep up with what they're doing in Austin.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I hadn't heard either. Haven't heard.
Out on the border, every week the police are on horseback down on 6th Street, and that's been happening for 20 years or better or more. So it's controlling a crowd with horses.
Wow.
Yes.
And forever, because you get down on 6th Street and it's crazy down there.
And it used to be so fun.
Once
sad.
ago, last
I'm
time
sorry.
That's funny.
and she was 100 years old. What was her name? Can't remember her name, but seems like a Bell or something like that. Anyway, she was a jazz singer. And that's the last time I ventured down on 6th Street.
Yeah, my son and his boss or overseer is into serving the best drinks and the quickest that they can get it in your hand and in your belly. So y'all better watch out. My son can make some wicked shit.
Where's he in California?
He's still in Green Bay yet.
Oh, he's in Green Bay.
Yeah. He runs a
They're preparing winter up there.
yeah. He's gonna be. That's what I told him. At least you get out of the winters.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you get here, you don't. Well, last year we had a hell of a time.
Oh yeah.
That was engineered weather, wars that we. But nevertheless, I just hope we don't have a repeat, because obviously our wind things didn't get antifreeze put on them. I mean, that's the thing they were lacking. They do that up north, but Texas never freeze. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Not like that. We have some winters, and I hear that this winter is going to be pretty bad. Imagine that. But yeah, we already have cooler temperatures. This is unusual for September.
See, I live on the coast, so I don't get that cold here.
Freeze.
I love it. I live in a perfect place. I'll never move no more.
This is typically our Indian summer
This is
right now for Ohio. And we have the Canadian cold here today.
It's cold.
And it probably will be for at least the rest of this week and into next week. It'll be cold like this.
Yeah, I up north. I don't care nothing about going back. Texas is getting, I mean, I don't have livestock outside that I take care of, but I don't have to be out there a great amount of time. But,
Well, Nancy, we'd like to get you in our group. If you can give Heather whatever information you're willing to give, so we can keep in contact, that would be awesome.
yeah.
You two can share your information in private chat there if you'd like.
Okay, I've shared several times
Texas Cowgirls
through Liberty Warrior and stuff. I'll put it there again. I don't think you've ever gotten it. I've called in before. I'll show you who I am. There I am.
Oh, okay.
I've seen you.
I know who Nancy is.
Yeah, no, fancy.
Mm-hmm.
What's
So
nice to
Be
me.
quiet.
yeah, I'm sitting here crochet. I crochet wind socks or whirly twirly thingies that blow in the wind.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Cool.
That my mother has a tool and die, and I asked her yesterday if I can have it because I want to make me a holster.
Oh
Can I
yeah,
say that? And then I thought, hey, what if I could start doing that for people?
If you get your one done,
What do you need? What do you
just
need, Bonnie?
What do I need to make holsters?
Yeah.
Well, she's got all the tools, just the leather
Well, I
and
got
the
leather. That's my name.
and the
Well, spread some of that Christmas cheer love.
That's my
figure out
name.
some way to.
That's my handle, man. Is leather.
Wow.
I got more shit than you can shit. Oh man.
I do too.
Send me your scraps, man. I'd be happy with your scraps.
I got 10 pounds of rivets. I got tools. I got leather. I got buckles. I got strap keepers. I got everything you can think of. I got studs. I got spikes. I got, you know what I mean? I got everything.
I want to try to make a case for Raina's pan flute, a leather case with a strap, so she can, hang it up and keep it nice, and the wood won't get ruined.
The only thing I don't have is long leather. For like Bonnie's, like if she made a holster, I don't know if the stuff would be long enough.
Yeah, because I need the straps like a
Yeah.
shoulder holster.
Oh, you want
Yeah.
the shoulder? Well, I could do that. I mean, I can do that.
Really?
Sure. You want a shoulder holster, huh?
Yep.
And I usually work with 1-inch straps, so because all my buckles are 1 inch.
Yes.
I couldn't keep track of my. I've been on. I used to make leather stuff. I've been on tour in Chicago, Indianapolis, Nashville, Memphis, Colorado.
So, do you
Although-
have a website or something, Robert?
No,
that
I
you-
shut it. I shut it down. I shut everything down.
Oh, did
It was. Yeah, it was. I'll be honest. It was naughty leather.
you? Okay.
I got out of that.
I just really like to work with leather.
Yeah.
I don't
love
even
this-
know how to make anything fancy, but I've made a lot of stuff that I just like working with it.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
do too. And that's my mother was telling me, well, she has her bowling bag that she made that has her name on it and everything, and she'll give that to me, and she thinks it has the bowling ball and shoes still in it. And she said, I have a wallet that I made or that needs to be made. You can finish that. She was I was like, woohoo, okay.
I got a wallet in my pocket right now, 20 years old. It looks brand new.
Yeah, they last forever. It's
Yep.
She had made a purse and wallet when I was a teenager, and when we went roller skating, somebody stole it. So
Hey, what I'll do? I know what I could do. I'll get your. You just Heather, have your address.
I just put my email in private chat.
Just
Oh.
to you, Bonnie.
Yeah.
So you
I'm up on no sleep. Well, sort of. I never slept this late in my life. my woman says, "You've never slept this ever since we've been together." I said, "I know." Shit, I don't have a pen. Let me get a pen.
Okay. Knife makers. My uncle makes knives. Actually,
of
Celtic.
Indiana or Mississippi, but he makes knives and he knife throwing in competition, and I think that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
His name is really different. I have to look him up and let you know when I find him.
Okay. Well, that is so cool, Nancy. You are just you're so close to me.
Do
You know
what?
Johnson City?
Yeah. I lived
That's
out there. So Blanco or Bluco or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's just right down the road. Well, that's where I grew up.
Cool. Yeah, we're going out this weekend. They're having a Bless the Pets at the Bee Cave Methodist Church. It's in the evening outside there, and they're going to do Bless the Pets. So,
Well, that's cool.
Okay. Four. Okay.
I love all you guys, but I got to get dinner started for the family here, and I'm probably going to shut the show down here very soon.
Okay, Bonnie, I got your email.
Okay.
Back up.
I'll send you an email today in a little while.
Didn't get shut down.
I'll be looking for it, Robert.
Okay, and then just tell me what you need. I'll send you shit. I'll send you all kinds of shit.
Okay.
Because it's just sitting in my garage.
That is awesome.
All I do is, like, if you bring me something, I can fix it for you. You know what I mean? That's all I do now. Or like if your dog needs a collar, I'll make that for him and shit. Or a harness for your dog, I'll make them too. I just do small stuff anymore.
Yeah. I
This
understand.
This new property is working up for me. It's keeping me pretty busy.
Yep.
Now I got to start firewood here any day now. I'm going to start, and I'm not going to stop
And
until I get enough.
she's showing her crocheting. My hands have gotten so arthritic that I'm not sure what I can still do, but I want to get to doing something because I'm
Got nice fishies.
I wish
can't
they
stand my making stuff.
get excited.
Right. Well, you guys,
Bonnie,
I
I'll
hate
send
to-
you my number. You can call me.
I hate to, but I really have to shut this down, you guys.
All right.
Heather, thank you. Sorry. Bye, chat.
Good.
Y'all have a good day.
I got a thing. All right, you guys too. We'll see you tonight.
Love you guys.
Love,
You too.
love and light. Mwah.
We'll see you in Liberty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh yeah. Bye. Thanks everybody for coming up today. Thank you, chat.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Have a good day. Take it easy. Don't let the world darken your day.